This is Mr. and what I have for you today is a fail and attack on this base and what appears to me at the few times that I've looked at it as a bit of a Grand Warden glitch. Well, let's dive in. I won't talk about the plan. I thought the plan, it was my plan, and I thought it was pretty good, but as we just wait for the countdown, I thought we'll bring the Queen in here, get the King to walk here, drop the Siege Barracks here. That's going to take all this out. Siege Barracks troops will start to take out these weapons here. Hogs and miners in through here. They'll path into the middle. Okay, that was the basics of the plan. So as you can see, first part of the funnel being created just nicely. That is the baby dragon coming along. Not quite as much as I wanted, but that's okay. I was hoping the baby dragon would take out a little bit more, but I kind of figured he might not. Okay, balloon in. Cleared the path for the healers, that part of the funnel created. Now, the thing with this dragon was I knew there was something else in the clan castle. I didn't know exactly what it was because obviously the balloon brought that out, but it didn't bring the other thing out, which meant the other thing must have been a ground troop of some description, or it could have been an air troop, such as a balloon. So I didn't know what it was. So here we go, King's down. So at this moment, everything seems to be going not too bad. I'm just thinking, yep, this is pretty well how I want it all to go. Everything's looking pretty good. I might have to drop a rage on the Queen as she gets closer in. Siege Barracks comes down, no problem. And I was thinking, you know what, I probably should have had an extra giant for that Siege Barracks. Now here come the miners, here come the hogs, and here comes the Grand Warden. Okay, now watch just what happens here. Big bomb. And everything's left the Grand Warden, and the Grand Warden's over here doing, oh, what the hell is he healing? He is over here doing absolutely nothing. He's decided that he's going to stick with the healers, even though he's a Grand Warden, and just ignored all the hogs and the miners. Big bomb, bomb tower, big bomb, big bomb. So they all had to go through all of that damage, while the Grand Warden at first looked like he was trying to protect the skellies that popped. And then he said, screw you guys, I'm going to go and protect some healers, even though I'm a Grand Warden. None of that made any sense, so a little bit of a Grand Warden glitch. And, you know, did it cost the raid? Well, certainly. I was not able to use the Grand Warden's ability because I could see here that he was way up here and all the troops were out of his field of influence. And so at that point, I was just kind of hoping and praying that essentially they'd all run away from him and he'd abandoned them. But I knew I had to use the heal through the rest of the base and no Grand Warden. So to me, the Grand Warden is like an extra heal. And so that was pretty well why, to me, this failed. Of course, this was a fresh hit. I didn't know all of the bombs were in this area. So, of course, that played a part as well. All of the troops having to deal with all of the bombs, plus the Grand Warden just abandoning them almost straight away. For reasons unknown, because as they left his field of influence, he just stayed over here and just all let them run into the area. So that kind of took me by surprise. So when that actually happened, I was a little bit slow on trying to react to it because I'm like, what the hell is my Grand Warden doing? Anyway, let's have a look at how this got cleaned up. Just before we go into this, have a quick look at the troops. You'll see almost identical in terms of hogs and miners. So I think hogs are the same, miners are a little bit different. One less wizard, only one balloon, no baby, and a pecker instead of the giants like I did. Spells, pretty well identical spells, except bringing a jump spell in the Siege Barracks instead of a rage. And to me, the way that the rage appears on the screen, it appears way over to the side. So I have to scroll for that second rage. Now I know Supercell did put in an option where I could go double troop icons. Unfortunately, when that happens, it sort of nukes the bottom of the screen and I'm unable to actually get anything down here. So while Supercell did provide an option that if I have too many icons and don't want to scroll, I get 2 rows of icons, it also prevents me from actually moving the screen so that I can actually access the bottom of the screen. So it created its own problem. Anyway, let's dive in, have a look at how that fail was actually fixed. So consider that my first scout, the fresh hit, consider it as a scout. At the end of the day, it failed. It doesn't matter why it failed. There's reasons why, but it doesn't matter why. At the end of the day, it failed. So balloon's down, queen's down, creating, now as you can see this, the queen is going to walk into this area instead. Now that means the queen is going to nullify threats to the hogs. Now I've always talked about this in my hog videos, especially at Town Hall 9, the purpose of queen walks and so on and so forth, and the push into the base with the go-ho type attack was to nullify threats to the hogs. Now what's a threat to the hog? The clan castle, the queen, expos and big bombs. So here what's happened is threats to the hogs, 2 bomb towers, big bombs, and just 1 bomb here. Now there's no reason for the hogs to go from here across this second big bomb over there. So nullified quite a lot of threats to the hogs there. Pekka's in, wizards are in, funnel getting nicely created for the miners. Now here come the miners at this angle to make sure they don't path over where the wizard and the Pekka are, and together with the hogs and the Grand Warden. Now there's nothing really here for them to be, the Grand Warden's not going to abandon them, so that's a big plus. He's too far away from the healers, and he's got a nice little group there straight into the middle. Now some will path this way, some will path that way, but ultimately it can be, they can at least be protected by the heal and the Grand Warden. The queen is still up, that's another big plus. Still got miners up the top side, hogs and miners in the middle. Second rage spell's gone down to help those hogs get through that DPS area pretty quickly. These miners will just all eventually get roasted by this Inferno, but by then it's not going to matter. There's way too many miners and hogs left to take out the rest of the base. Here they come. Bit of Skelly Skelly trap up the top is not going to bother them too much. Miners will take care of the Skellies following behind, and now we're just looking at the cleanup. Good use of my first attack to discover the weakness in the base, or what could be nullified, which was threats to the troops, the big bombs, and those were definite threats to the troops, so it was able to nullify some of those going into the attack, and just approach the attack with almost the identical troops, just coming into the base from a slightly different angle, and an angle that was more beneficial to the troops that were coming in, and made it easier to protect those troops. And of course the Grand Warden didn't abandon the troops either, so that helped as well. In any case, if you have any questions or comments about the fail or the cleanup or the base in general, please leave them down below. And that's all I've got for this video. If you like what you've seen and you want to see more, please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.